All right, y'all. Give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yahuwah. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Hey, read this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for any of you think you have eternal life, and there they was testify of me. You will not come to me, you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, he receive me not. Another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another and seek not the honor that come from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. Abba, there's one that accused you, even Moses, to whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. If you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? All right, y'all. Let's let all esteem and honor slide to the mighty and Kadash name of Yahuwah Elohim in the name of his only begotten son. Let's go on over here to we will go back to Proverbs 15 and 30, and then John chapter 20. Of course, the light of the eyes rejoice the heart, and a good report make the bones fat. I'm gonna wait before I read that because that's a whole nother thing. Verses on down. But nevertheless, John chapter 20, verse 25. Make it 24. But Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Yahusha came. The other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, except I shall see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and thrust my hand into his side, I will not believe. After 8 days again, his disciples were within, Thomas with them. Then came Yahusha, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, Shalom be unto you. Then say he to Thomas, reach hither your finger, and behold my hands. Reach hither your hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless, but believing. Thomas answered and said unto him, my Lord and my Elohim. Yahushua said unto him, Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are they that have not seen, yet have believed. Now, let's look at believed, if we would. Let's look at that word believed. And let's see what we gonna get. Let's look at the first place where it's used in the text. Which, of course, you should know that this is aman. This is to support, to confirm, to be faithful, to uphold, to nourish, to be established, to make firm, sure, lasting, confirmed, established, reliable, trusty, verified, trust, to stand firm, to believe. And if you recall, it's Aleph, Meme, and Noon. So you know that the leader's Ruach is life. This is what you believe. Now, some things may seem to be a tad bit redundant for you, but this is important. I want you to come to Hebrews 11. I want you to come to Hebrews 11. See, the thing at the end of the day, a lot of people do not believe. They do not believe. Their mind is not present. It is not present. Hebrews 11 and 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Now remember in Genesis 15, it told you Abraham believed Yahuwah and he counted to him for righteousness. He did not see Isaac. See, a lot of people talk trash about faith is because they do not have it. I want you to come to Hebrews 4 and 1, just on general principle, because we round this corner. Matter of fact, you could make it 3 and 15 and you would. I just run all the way straight into it like I always do. And see what a lot of people after this here, man, you could come to Romans 3. I mentioned it the other day. We're going to mention it again. But Hebrews 3 and 8:15. While it is said, today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts as in the provocation. For some, when they had heard, did provoke, howbeit not all that came out of Mizraim by Moses, but with him was he grieved 40 years. Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness, to whom he sware that they should not enter into his rest, but to them that believe not. This concept is not a new concept. It's the concept which precluded your forefathers from entering into the promised land, which will preclude many people from entering into the kingdom of Elohim now. You don't believe it. I just had this conversation, and I've been telling people for years. Let me tell you something. Just because somebody can quote some scriptures don't mean they believe his word. Just because people know certain things don't mean that they believe it. See, the evidence of the faith is manifested when tribulations and afflictions and chastisement and persecution arise, or just the natural things of life. Everybody thinks that when you're dealing with Elohim, that this supposed to happen, this supposed to happen. But at the end of the day, remember we talked about that word to try you, sarah, to refine, to smelt, to test. That man got to test you to see if you solid. Once he see you solid, he will never leave you. Once he know you solid, he ain't going nowhere. See, the thing is you want him to prove that he's solid to you, but you don't have to prove that you're solid to him. I don't know where you get that from. But see, I just said that because that's going to lead to something else that we're going to discuss this evening. And it's a parallel and a relation to men and women. Because you're going to see that relation between Yahusha and Yasharal. It's all the same. It don't change. As I've told y'all on many, many occasions, a lot of dudes don't hold on to this word because all you telling them about is being an Israelite. They don't really believe it. They've never been taught to believe it. There is no trust in Elohim. Let's continue. So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief. That was Hebrews 3 and 19. Let's look at Hebrews 4 and 1. Let us therefore fear, lest the promise being left of us entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them, but the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with the faith in them that heard it. Now again, remember, a good report make the bones fat, or it profits. That word fat is going to relate to profit. Shalom. It relates to profit. He said they heard the gospel, we heard the gospel, but it didn't profit them because not being mixed with the faith of them that heard it. See, they didn't believe it. See, when you sit back and you look at it, remember Romans 15 tell you the things that are written aforetime are written for our learning. See, when we was reading last week that they looked at that light bread and they found it as contemptible and this, that, and the third, they heard this man say, we're going to come into a land flowing with milk and honey, wells that you did not dig, vineyards that people to overthrow them and take their land. They didn't believe it. See, we want to complicate everything and be like, the white man this, the white man that, the nation's this system that, this system this. Man, all that stuff don't mean nothing. Well, these niggas don't believe what this man say. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you cut all that other stuff, you strip away everything else. At the root of it, do you believe what he says? Do you believe what he says? Because guess what? I don't care what's going on around you. If you don't believe what he says, then what good are you to him? Romans chapter 3. Romans 3 and 1. What advantage then hath the Yahudim, or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because unto them were committed the oracles of Elohim. For what if son did not believe, shall their unbelief make the faith of Elohim without effect? Elohim forbid. Yea, let Elohim be true, but every man a liar. As it is written, you may be justified in your sayings and might overcome when you are just. See, let me tell you something. You think because them niggas didn't believe that stopped them people from getting in that promised land? It did not. It did not. You think because them people in Egypt didn't put blood on their doorposts, that stopped them from getting killed? It did not. It don't see that's the thing that's it that you got to sit back and understand. I be seeing a lot of people who don't believe, they be talking trash, and I'm like, nigga, I don't care if you don't believe it, nigga. How you think you hurting me? You believe in fairy tale? Well, hey man, that's how you feel. I don't care. But you can only have that thought process if you have their mind. That man say, blessed are those who have believed yet have not seen. I don't care if you believe it, bro. What does that mean to me? You ain't gotta believe it. I'm not a fan. Oh, you believe in fairy tale? Well, so be it. So be it. It don't change the fact that it's true. The man told you that Elohim is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of a man that he should repent. If he said it, shall he not do it? If he said it, shall he not do it? That's it. You know what I'm saying? The word of Elohim is true. You know that from Psalms. He said, I said in my haste, all men are liars. See, this is another verse where people try to say this here, and they say, well, you know, he a liar because he said it with the truth abound through for my lie. Niggas just don't know the law, bro. Just don't know the law. So they don't know why he said that. Because if you knew the text, you would already know the text say all men are liars. That's why he said it. But see, I want you to come over here to Deuteronomy 7. Let me go and get this point out of the way right here in Deuteronomy 7 on the setup for these old hardy niggas. There's a lot of hardy niggas out here, man. Proud and a little lifted up on the inside and whatnot. I want you to come to Deuteronomy 7. You can pick it up at verse 6. Hold on. Deuteronomy 7:6. For you are Kadash people under Yahuwah your Elohim. Yahuwah your Elohim have chosen you to be a special people unto himself. Now, see, I was listening to old Vlad TV. He was talking to old Godfrey. And what his name is? D.L. Hughley. And he was just offended at the fact that anyone could believe that God has a chosen people. Now, of course, he's a Jew, and he was referring to his experience with the Hasidic Jews who shun anybody who is not one of them. Now, of course, you should remember special is the word segula. You understand? You're a peculiar treasure, a possession, or a property. So when he says that you're a special people unto himself, or he has chosen you or becard you, he has chosen you to be a possession or a property that he owns. See, that should take you in the regards of dealing with a man and a woman. That is his peculiar treasure, his possession or property. That's what happens. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that in these days and times, but the word segula, if you remember, it is samak, it is gamal, it is lamah, and it is hay. So you can see how you can be whole to grab on hold to the messenger's teachings. This is what allows you to be his peculiar treasure, if you will, or his property above all people that are upon the face of the earth. See, some people say, what type of God would choose a people? Yahuwah, that's who. He do what he want to do. Listen what he said. Yahuwah did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more than any number than any people. You were the fewest of all people, but because Yahuwah loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he sworn unto your fathers, that Yahuwah brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Now, bondman, abed, what does that mean? House of a slave or a servant. Y'all should already know spiritually what this is referring you to. He that commits sin is the servant of sin, and the servant abide not in the house forever. So if the Son shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. Again, showing you that it's all the same word. All the same word. Because that's what he said. He came to redeem you from being in the house of a slave, from being a slave to sin. He came to save you from that, so you could be freed from that home of hard bondage. But again, he said this is why he chose you. Now I want you to come to John chapter 15. And the reason why I'm mentioning this here, right? Because this is a true story. You can come to John chapter 15. You can pick it up at verse 11. Matter of fact, you can pick it up at verse 9. And this is what it is. You know, a woman is a gatekeeper of having sex. The woman can choose who she has sex with. She has complete and total control over that. But that's where it stops. Because at the end of the day, the man chooses if he chooses a woman to be in a relationship. A woman cannot choose to be in a relationship, and she certainly can't choose to be married. That man has to choose you. Why do I say this? Because you didn't choose Yahusha. You didn't choose Yahuwah. He chose you. You know what I'm saying? So you need to get that in your mind. Why is that important? Because it reiterates the point that the man is the prize and not the woman. The woman is the gift to the man, but she is not a prize. Now, we ain't a gift. We're a gift to Yahusha and to a certain extent, but he is the prize, and we will enumerate why he is the prize. Because he chose you, you didn't choose him. And he told you that in Ezekiel. Before we even read John 15, come over here to Ezekiel 16 so you can go back again and refresh your memory that this man told you that you didn't choose him. Because I think our people done forgot that. See, it was coming through my mind. It was like the audacity. See, that's pride. See, we chosen. Okay, what's your point? Because you didn't choose him. See, when you run around talking about you chosen, you ain't different than no bald-headed skank hoe who happy some simp nigga chose her to marry. That's how you sound. Because you couldn't even believe that someone would even pick you because you know you ain't worth picking. That's why you have to continue to remind somebody that somebody picked you. So you couldn't carry yourself with the elegance and grace of a woman who knows she was worthy to be chosen, and therefore she was chosen by a valuable man who saw the value in having her right with him. And that's not saying that Yahusha is a simp, so don't be one of them smarty art niggas. I'm talking about we act like a woman who a simp has chosen because she done used up all her worth and value and don't nobody want you. You see it every day. Some of y'all friends with women who like that. God forbid you that woman who you know ain't nobody want you. So you just happy that somebody was willing to marry you because you know nobody else wasn't going to do it. That's why you got to tell everybody, look at my ring. Look at my husband. Because you know you wasn't worth being married to. So we have to sit back and look and assess ourselves when we do that. Like you really need everybody to know? You really need everybody to know you've been chosen? We the chosen people. We the chosen people. Okay, so what? Are you forgetting that you saying chosen? That means you were chosen. You didn't choose him. The woman never does the choosing. The man got to do the choosing. She can let signs know that she wants to be chose, but at the end of the day, the man got to choose. Because she could throw out everything in the world to want to get chose, and he can pass her right on by. It ain't no different than what I'm sitting there thinking about. When you look at with David, when Samuel went around there to anoint the king, when he said, "What about this?" He said, "No." He said, "What about it?" He said, "No." He said, "Don't look on him because of his stature or his countenance, because man look on the outward appearance, and Yahuwah look upon the heart." They don't worry about these here. I ain't chosen. He actually even told Samuel, "This ain't who I chose. I chose that." See, David didn't choose Yahuwah and say, "I'm gonna be a king of Yasharal, Yahuwah. I'm gonna be the king." No, that's not what happened. He chose him. David didn't choose Yahuwah. Yahuwah chose David. And you have to sit back and you have to look at that. Jacob didn't choose Yahuwah. Yahuwah chose Jacob. He could have chose Esau if he wanted to. Yahuwah chose not to for reasons known to him. It's his prerogative. See, you'll have a man and you'll have, and it could be 7 women interested in that man. And them women get hot because, well, why he picked her, not me? What difference does it make? He chose who he wanted. He chose who he wanted. That's the one he wanted. He don't even need to have a reason why he chose it. But what you have to understand is that when he told you, like I said, He said, you know, I chose you and my love rested upon you. So what you should be looking at in this regard, indeed, indeed, indeed. You just sit back and look at it is that man chose to put his love upon you. You so ready to tell somebody you chosen versus sitting back looking at he chose to love you. It even need a reason because we've been talking about the level of the man love. He didn't even need a reason. He let it be known because of what he said to Abraham. But let's continue. Ezekiel 16. Look at what he said in verse 1. Again, the word of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations. And say, Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim unto Jerusalem, your birth and your nativity. That is correct. And you know the work, and you know what, Paul, since you said that they didn't want to do the work that's told for them, let's look and see what that work is. See, come over here to John chapter 6. Let's just see what that work is. It's a simple task. It's a simple task. This is all you got to do. This is all you got to do. Let's just look at that work. He mentioned they don't even want to do the work. 6 and 22. John 6 and 22. This is the work that don't nobody want to do. John 6 and 22. The day following, when the people which stood on the other side of the sea saw that there was none other boat there, save the one whereinto his disciples were entered. And Yahushua went not with his disciples into the boat, but that his disciples were gone away alone. Howbeit there come other boats from Tiberias nigh unto the place where they did eat bread. After that, the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Yahushua was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping and came to Capernaum seeking for Yahushua. And when they had found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when come you hither? Yahushua answered them and said, Truly, truly, I say unto you, you seek me not. You seek me not because you saw the miracles, but because you did eat of the loaves and were filled. Labor not for the meat which perish, but for the meat which endure unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him of Elohim Abba sealed. Then they said unto him, What shall we do that we might work the works of Elohim? Yahushua answered and said unto them, This is the work of Elohim, that you believe on him whom he hath sent. See, that's the most difficult task for a nigga to do. Is to believe on the man whom he sent. And we refuse to do it. Now, I know what works that bro mentioning, but all that's going to come from the, if you don't believe it, ain't no way you're going to do none of that. See, Paul, come on over here to John chapter 8. See, if you don't believe the word, you ain't going to do none of the other stuff. See, that's the word. Believe on the man whom he have sent. Everything else will fall in order right after that. But see, I'm trying to tell y'all, people don't believe this word. I'm here to tell you some of your favorite Hebrew personalities, some of your favorite Hebrew teachers. They don't believe not nary word of this book. Not nary word. John chapter 8, we might as well read 34 anyway. They don't believe not nary word of it. Not nan tap. Not nan tap. And it shows too. See, I was just telling Monte this here, right? The reason why we get fooled is because you think because dudes can explain. See, plus because most of these dudes trash. So the average Bruce thinking these dudes is really dropping some work, and that's not really weak to somebody who has understanding. When you have understanding, you really see that, oh, bro don't really know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not on no disrespectful type of time or no arrogance or pride. When you have understanding, you'll really be like, yo, he don't really know what he's talking about. And you'll be less inclined to want to hear this person discuss the word because you know that this person lacks understanding. You know what I'm saying? So, and that tells you because they lack understanding, it tells you one or two things. They don't believe it or they've been grossly misinstructed. You know what I'm saying? And it's usually the latter. They've been grossly misinstructed. But it's also, it is sometimes it's 50-50, and sometimes they just don't believe it. They just got in too deep in what they're doing that they just don't want to walk away. So when some of these dudes do walk away, people like somebody got to them, somebody what that, and at the end of the day, no, they just didn't believe it. See, Yahuwah gonna lay the hearts open bare. He's not gonna bear you out in 30 days. It may be 6 months, it could be 5 years. But eventually, Yahuwah gonna pull your skirt up and let your nakedness appear and expose you as an unbeliever. But you didn't really believe any of it. I remember a young woman asked me that a long time ago. She said, you really believe what you're saying? I said, baby, I'm down with you. If I didn't, I wouldn't even talk about You know what I'm saying? And I'm not mad at her asking that. It was a relevant question at the time. But I mean, I understand. But just like it's written in Psalms, I believe, therefore I have spoken. I ain't finna talk about something I don't believe in. That don't make sense to me. But it's so many people in the earth who do it that I could understand why people would assume someone would. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, that makes no sense. Why discuss something that you really don't believe? Why be involved in something that you really don't believe? Why do that? Why waste your time? Put on for who? For some niggas you don't even know? For the internet? Man, look here, man. If you already doing what you want to do, walking away, what somebody got to say to you shouldn't even bother you. Oh, that nigga walked away from the word. I knew that nigga was flawed. Shoot, yeah, shoot, you were right, nigga. Shoot, I was doing this and doing that. I'm tired of faking. But I done told you that it takes too much energy to be fake and just to be honest. It takes too much energy to be fake. You might well just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it real. But John chapter 8, verse 34. Yahushua answered them, truly, truly, I say unto you, whosoever commits sin is the servant of sin. The servant abide not in the house forever, but the son abide forever. If the son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. I know that you are Abraham's seed, but you seek to kill me, because my word had no place in you. I speak that which I seen with my Abba, and you do that which you seen with your Abba. They answered and said unto him, Abraham is our Abba. Yahushua said unto him, if you were Abraham's sons, you would do the works of Abraham. But now you seek to kill me, a man who told you the truth, which I heard of Elohim. Is it not Abraham? Remember, Abraham believed Yahuwah. He counted it to him for righteousness. So you mean to tell me if you was Abraham's seed, you do the works of Abraham? You ain't none of Abraham's seed. You ain't none of Abraham's seed. You don't believe nothing that's in here. That Ezekiel 16. You don't believe nothing that's in here. So you're not gonna do the word. That's why I told you, if you be Abraham's seed, you do the works of Abraham. Abraham believed Yahuwah with the whole mind, heart, and soul. These niggas don't. Because he said, I know him. He gonna teach his household justice and judgment and the way of Yahuwah. Well, these boys ain't gonna keep no way. They ain't gonna keep no way. They don't believe it. They don't believe it. I know that's a hard pill to swallow. As each day and day go by, Yahuwah gonna show it to you. I ain't got to show it to you. Yahuwah gonna show it to you. These niggas don't believe me. Stop worrying about these boys. These boys trash. You know they trash. Worrying about these trash can niggas. You understand me? Let's look at what he got to say after this. We're in Ezekiel 16, verse 3. Ezekiel 16. And say, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim unto Jerusalem, your birth and your nativity is of the land of Canaan. Your father was an Amorite, and your mother a Hittite. As for your nativity in the day that you were born, your navel was not cut, neither was you washed in water to supple you, and you were not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. No, I pitied you to do any of these unto you, to have compassion upon you, but you was cast into an open field to the loathing of your person and the day that you was born. Now remember, he said nobody had compassion on you. Do you not recall when Yahuwah declared his name? That was the first thing that he said his name was, is that he was compassionate. Kamal is the word for compassion, to have compassion, to spare, to have pity, Kot, Beam, and Lamar. Come on and get separated to the teachers of the Ruach. Come on over here. If you want to have pity and compassion on you, you got to get separated to these teachings. You got to get separated to the teachings of the Spirit, which is life. That's not law. See, that's totally different. Still going back to grace and truth. Still going back to grace and truth. Mercy and truth. Because we ain't done with that. You need to understand that. That's the key component. See, if you don't believe in the mercy and truth, then ain't no way in the world you're going to believe on him. See, I done told y'all this before. And I haven't mentioned it in a while, but I mentioned it this afternoon. I think I said it the other day. Like, the issue is, and I done told some of y'all this before in the past too, now I think about it. It's not about knowing what book, chapter, and verse something is. It's about, like this here, man, when you in a situation and you can hear the word in your spirit that fix the exact situation you in, and you follow it. See, that's when he talking to you. But he ain't talking to you like, sit, hey, buddy, hey. No, he talking to you with that word. You gonna follow it. You think when you in a real life situation, you're gonna be like, oh, that's John chapter 7, verse 22. No, that's not coming to your head, yo. You hear the word. You know it's the word of Elohim. Are you going to keep it? You're gonna keep it because you trust in it. You trust in the result that you would get from keeping it. I told y'all before, and I'll remind you again, when I first started in the word, man, and the police had them pulled up on me when I was walking to the house down University Boulevard, man, and that Matthew 5 came to my head, agreeing with your adversary quickly. What this is literally straight like that. Not Matthew chapter 5, verse 40. No, that's not what happened. Just that word in that exact situation. So I'm knowing, okay, why is this coming to my mind? I ain't been in the word a year yet. So why is this coming to my mind? Because if I go to this police officer and I'm like, I ain't doing that, and I go off on this man, because this is an adversarial situation. He's my adversary. He's not my friend. He's not my companion. Then a negative outcome is going to come. The very word that is for my protection and benefit is coming to heart to tell me this is what you're supposed to do. If you do this, you're going home. If you don't, you're going to jail. I ain't even thinking about getting shot, but you going to jail. What do? You follow the word, you go home. You follow yourself, you go to jail. It's just that simple. See all that stuff? See, that's that Jesus stuff. I ain't agreeing with them people. I ain't doing none of this here. How many times you see that in the text where you seen sons of Yasharal agreeing with their enemies? What is you arguing with this man for? For what? You think the Lord would have been on the street arguing with the police? Come on, I ain't did nothing wrong. Why is you messing with me? You think he really gonna do that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. For what? What am I arguing with this clown for? I know he unbeliever. I know he a sinner. I know he ain't got no sense. I'm not fooling with this dummy. I'm not fooling. That doesn't mean that I'm bootlicking and I'm kissing his butt and I'm doing all this whole other stuff. But I'm not finna be around here catching and fetching and stepping. I'm not concerned with this fool. All right then. Okay then. Good day to you, sir. And I'm gonna go about my business. See, if you serve you, who would this show? See, it was a brother said something on Sal last doggone blog talk. And it was in relation to Black Lives Matter. And he said, son, that I know a lot of black folks don't want to hear, especially a lot of them who in the word. He was like, George Floyd was doing whatever he was doing, but if you sat back and even considered that he might have been doing things you who don't like. Have you even sat back and considered that this man is a sinner? And this very word that you say you believe, say death and hell follows the transgressor. Huh? Did anybody think about that? Did it run across anybody's mind? Absolutely not. Have you forgotten that Proverbs tell you that the way of transgressors is hard? See, we don't want to sit back and we don't want to think about none of that. And you know why we don't want to think about none of that? Because then you have to acknowledge that these niggas is out here wicked. And all they doing is getting the payment for their wickedness. You understand when you in sin, death is on your heels? He tell you if you wander out of understanding, you remain among the congregation of the dead. That's why he told you let the dead bury the dead. He wasn't doing nothing but telling you what Proverbs had already told you. But this is when you know the text, you have understanding. That's just what it is. These people dead, though they live. No different than Adam. He was alive, but he was dead. Because of sin. So you have to have that understanding. But let me finish this Ezekiel 16, man. 16:6. Look what he told you, what he did, right? He said, ain't nobody had no eye to pity you in the day you were born. Verse 6, and when I passed by you and saw you polluted in your own blood, I said unto you, when you was in your own blood, live. Yeah, I said unto you, when you was in your blood, live. I have caused you to multiply the bud of the field. You have increased in wax and grape. You are come to excellent ornaments. Your breasts are fashioned. Your hair is grown. whereas you were naked and bare. I think remember that. I'm trying to remember that. Your breasts are fashioned. He done established you now. You know what I'm saying? You got your bosoms all up. You got your bosoms all nice. So you ain't had no titties before. Now your knowledge fashion. You got a little bit of knowledge. Your breast been established. Your wisdom, your knowledge, like Deuteronomy 4 told you, that's been established. Now your hair growing. You was naked and bare. You ain't had nothing. You had no ruach. You had no covering. You had nothing. He said, now when I passed by you and looked upon you, behold, your time was the time of love. I spread my skirt over you and covered your nakedness. Yea, I swear unto you and entered into a covenant with you, saith Yahuwah Elohim, and you became mine. You didn't choose him. He chose you. How dare you open your mouth and talk reckless? Now, of course, this enumerates in Ezekiel, you can come back to 15 and 9 of John, all the things that he gave you and how he showed you that he was the prize because he was giving more unto you than you were giving unto him. A man is going to give more unto the woman than the woman is going to give unto him. And that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. When you're talking about in righteousness and godliness, that's how it's supposed to be. She's just supposed to be the aid, help, and relief and adding value unto his life. See, we don't live in a society where that is promoted. What is promoted is individuality, even in the midst of a family. See, there's no individuality in the body of Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? It's oneness because that's how it's supposed to be in a family. It's not a group of individuals. It's a cohesive unit. You should remember that from the book of Job about the scales are tight. There's no air to get in. It's a cohesive unit. What we have is a group of individuals. We have a group of individuals because everybody want to be a star. Everybody wants their name in the marquee. Everybody wants their will fulfilled. So there can't be a collective fellowshipping, a coming together of individuals of one mind for one goal and one task. See, a lot of brews, they always scream that stuff about unity. You can't have unity till people believe on Mashiach. You can't have unity because you're a brew. That's not what Yahuwah ordained. That's not what it's about. It has to be unity in Mashiach for true strength and power, because then his power will rest with his people. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. And that's what we lack. That's what we void of. There is no faith in the earth. Just let that be known. These niggas don't believe their word. These niggas don't believe their word. Don't let them lie to you. John chapter 15, verse 9. As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue you in my love. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I kept my Abba's commandments and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that your joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. See, pause. Now, we didn't talk about this before. This is the instruction that he's given. He say, blessed are those who have seen, blessed are those who believe, yet have not seen. Thomas seen his love. You have not seen it. See, come over here to 1 Peter chapter 1. See, that's what we hear to discuss. Thomas seen the love. You ain't seen it, but yet you believe it. That's why I say you blessed. You say, Thomas, you seen and believed. But how blessed is somebody who have not seen, but believed on the strength of a word? You understand? Just on the strength of a word. 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 3. After 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 3, Acts chapter 1. And from Acts chapter 1, Isaiah 43. And I'm picking Acts 1 and Isaiah 43 based off a conversation I had with somebody. Indeed, Baruch be Elohim and Abba of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, which according to his abundant mercy have begotten us again into a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach from the dead, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled that fade not away, preserved in heaven for you, who are kept by the power of Elohim through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in the last time. wherein you greatly rejoice, though now for a season in need, if need be, you are in heaviness through manifold temptations. That the trial of your faith, being more precious than of gold, that perish, though it be tried with fire, might be found under praise and honor and esteem at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach, whom having not seen you love, and whom not and whom though now you see him not, yet believing, you rejoice with joy unspeakable and full of esteem, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls. Listen what he said. You have not seen him, but you love him. And though you see him not, you believe, and your heart rejoices with joy unspeakable, full of esteem, because he said that the trial of your faith was more precious than gold, because you got to be refined. So you got to be tested. See, it's a lot of people, they faith get tested, they fold. And they walk away. They be done. They be mad, man. Mad with him for what? Mad with him for what? What I just said. Hang on, I forgot. Y'all wouldn't come back to mine. Just come back over here to John 15. 15 and 11. Y'all wouldn't come. See, when it come down to it, a lot of people don't believe. They got to see it. They got, oh, that's right. Acts chapter 1. Praise the Lord. Acts chapter 1, right? Pick this up at about verse 15. From Acts 15 to Isaiah 43. Acts 1 and 15. And it says, in those days, Peter stood up in the midst of the disciples and said, the number of the names together were about 120. There are 120 men here. 120. Men and brethren, this scripture must needs have been fulfilled, which the Ruach HaKodesh by the mouth of David spake concerning Judas, which was guide to them that took Yahushua, for he was numbered with us and obtained part of this ministry. Now this man purchased a field with the reward of iniquity, falling headlong, he burst asunder in the midst, and all his bowels gushed out. And it was known unto all the dwellers at Jerusalem, insomuch as that field is called in their proper tongue Al-Kadama, that is to say, the field of blood. For it is written in the book of Psalms, let his habitation be desolate. Let no man dwell therein, and his bishopric let another take. Wherefore these men which have companied with us all the time, that the Lord Yahushua went in and out among us. See, this is the thing. And I keep telling y'all this. It was more than the 12. The 12 were just the ones he taught the gospel to directly that set him apart from all the others. But there were other people walking with them. It were not just them 12, and that's it. Those were the ones that he chose to sit upon 12 thrones, judging the tribes of Yasharal. And there was nothing that they did to be chosen. Let's continue. Beginning from the immersion of John until that same day he was taken up from us, must one be ordained to be a witness with us of his resurrection. He said that somebody has to be born to be appointed or chosen to be a witness of this man resurrecting from the dead with us. Now come to Isaiah 43, because at the end of the day, that's what the apostles were bearing witness to. This man died, this man rose and ascended into heaven. That's what they were bearing witness to. That's what people don't understand. That's what makes an individual an apostle. That they're taught the gospel of Yahushua from Yahushua and not man. That's what sets an apostle above everyone else. They have a witness that everyone else does not have. A pastor, an evangelist, a teacher, somebody got to teach them that. They have to be taught that gospel. That apostle that wasn't taught that. Elohim gave him that so that he could teach it unto men, so that Yahushua might be preached in the earth to the esteem of the Father, and that souls might return. That way that you, though you have not seen him, you would love him, and that you believing would rejoice with joy unspeakable. Nevertheless, Isaiah chapter 43. Pick it up at verse 6. I remember I shared this here with another Hebrew dude years back. He said the same thing. My man said, that's exegesis. I don't know what none of that stuff is. I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, I don't know what that's scholarly talk. I don't care nothing about no scholarly talk. I'm gonna tell you, I don't care nothing about what no scholar talking about our word. Ain't no sinner can't tell me nothing about no righteousness. Once you live it, you can talk to me about it. Period, point blank. And nigga walking the earth got a problem with it, throw it out your butthole, nigga. Because I don't care how a sinner gonna instruct me in righteousness. Please explain that to me. Because that makes no sense whatsoever. I don't care. I've been at all these universities and studied this and studied that, and you still wicked. How you studied all this word and you still wicked? Explain that to me. Help me understand. Why would I take instruction and righteousness from someone who is unbelieving and evil? And let them tell me what the words say. Do you live it? Do you believe it? Oh, you can't tell me nothing. I've been studying biblical text for 35 years. I'm not impressed. You should have been studying how to live it, you wicked bastard. How about that? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Tell your mammy to take a hit of it too. Tell your daddy he ought to cut himself in his neck for raising such a fruitless, worthless, evil individual. Nevertheless, Isaiah 43 and 6. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, my daughters from the ends of the earth. Everyone that is called by my name, for I have created him for my esteem. I have formed him. I have made him. That's what he told you. If he created you he chose you, and he made you for his esteem. That's what he made you for. If you called by his name. You call by, remember, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. And the whole family in heaven and earth is named after Mashiach. Let's continue. Bring forth the blind people that have eyes and the deaf that have ears. Let the nations, all the nations be gathered together. Let the people be assembled. Who among them shall declare this and show us former things? Let them bring forth their witnesses that they may be justified. Let them hear and say it is true. He said, well, how about you bring somebody out here and show them to be righteous? That's what you do. Come on around here and let us see if it's a mock. You bring them around here. Let me see how faithful it is. How reliable is that word you talking about? How true is it? He said, you are my witnesses, saith Yahuwah, and my servant whom I have chosen, that you may know and believe me and understand that I am he. And before me, there was no Elohim formed, neither shall there be after me. Even I am Yahuwah, and besides me, there is no Savior. I have declared and have saved. I have showed when there was no strange God among you. Therefore, you are my witnesses, saith Yahuwah, that I am Elohim. Remember, this is what Peter tells him. Somebody got to be a witness of his resurrection. Remember that right? That witness. You know the sacrifice. See, if you don't know the sacrifice, you ain't no witness. If you know the sacrifice, you know he rose. Let me finish this John chapter 15 before I hit one more thing I got to hit before we get out of here. It's about 8:30 right now. So we good. I got everything done, so I can go a little later. I already did that cardio. Full circle already taken care of. So come over here to John 15 and 11. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends. You are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant know not what his Lord do, but I have called you friends. For all things that I've heard of my Abba I've made known unto you. That's what you just seen in Isaiah 43. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, and whatsoever you shall ask of Abba in my name, he may give it to you. See, he let his father know, you ain't chose me, boy. I chose you. See, you ain't chose him, he chose you. So that you could go bring forth fruit, the peace, the faith, the gentleness, the long suffering, the goodness, the meekness, the self-control, the joy. That's what he sent you out here to do. You don't want to do that. You think bringing forth fruit is material thing. But he already told you, if you think gain is godliness, that person got a perverse and a corrupt mind. You might not want to fool with him. You might not want to fool with him. See, we point to everything that manifests in the godliness except the things that Yahuwah said to look at, because we don't believe his word. Why we talking about we want reparations, we want this, and we want that. That man already told you what he was going to do and what he was going to give you. That ain't enough. Oh, you want to get it from man to be justified. I don't need nothing from these people. I don't want nothing from these people. See what I'm saying? They'll give it when Yahuwah say it's time to give it. Not a minute before and not a minute later. But right when he say they got to give it, they gonna come up off of it. They ain't got no choice. It's been written. See, that's the thing that we be forgetting. Man, this junk already been written, boy. Boy, you just living out the script, son. It's gonna happen how he said it's gonna happen. It don't matter what you want. Did anybody even ask you what you wanted? Does anybody even care? Because I don't care. He don't care. Nobody cares. The will of Yahuwah will be fulfilled whether you like it or not. Now come over here to Ecclesiastes chapter 10. And we're going to end right here, man. But we're going to leave something for your minds to rest upon. And Yahuwah willing on the Shabbat, we'll delve into these things in a more in-depth fashion. Especially dealing with blessed are those who have believed, though they have not seen. Ecclesiastes 10 and 19, you understand? Matter of fact, make it 10 and 17. Matter of fact, go make it 10 and 16, because that's just how I'm feeling. You have a lot of it. It's all the same word, I promise you. I think it's something else in chapter 10 that I might add in. Go on, grab 7. Because we done dealt with 7 before. But I'm going to bring verse 7 to your memory, and then we're going to move on down. He said, I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. See, you know what that is? That's Zechariah 9 and 9. Y'all know about Zechariah 9 and 9, ain't it? Same thing that happened with Mordecai. I've seen princes ride servants upon horses, because Yahushua said he didn't come to be served, but to serve. You seen him riding upon an ass coming into Zion, and he said, I've seen servants and princes walking as servants upon the earth. So I want you to keep that in mind, because that's what he came to do. We done dealt with that before. I don't want you in the mind, because we talking about princes in some of these verses. So that's why I mentioned that. See, now I want you to come down to verse 16 of Ecclesiastes chapter 10. He say, woe to you, O land, when your king is a child and your princes eat in the morning. Blessed are you, O land, when your king is the son of nobles and your princes eat in due season, for strength and not for drunkenness. For strength and not for drunkenness. Now, you know, this is drinking, right? Little intoxication, Shadeh, Sean, Tao, and Yard. He said they eat for strength, not for drunkenness, to keep it in your mind. He said by much slothfulness the building decay, and through idleness the hands of the house drop through. This is what we came here for. I just dropped verses 17, 16, 7, 16 and 7 for you to ponder on. But verse 19 is why we hear a feast is made for laughter, and wine make merry. But money answer all things. That is not what this verse says. And I'm going to leave you with this here to think upon this as well. When it says feast, it says lakim. For those of you who know, that's bread. So it don't say feast. It say bread. Now the word for laughter is sahok, which you should be familiar with. That is to be derided or to be ridiculed or to be mocked. Say bread is made for mocking. Bread is made for mocking. Y'all know what Yahushua did on the night of Passover. Y'all know they ate bread, and you know what happened after he ate that bread. Now, of course, you who are willing on Shabbat, we're going to delve into that deeper. Now, it tells you wine make merry. Well, it says Yain Samak Kai. Well, you know that Yain is wine. Samak is rejoice, and Kai is live. And that takes you back to what we read in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 8 or verse 7. About the joy unspeakable. It says wine rejoices of life, or the rejoicing of life. You know they drank wine, and it was for what? For the remission of sins. So verse 19 is telling you about the bread and wine yet again. See, the bread and wine is discussed in so many different places in this book, and all of it is pointing to the blood and body and offering of Mashiach. Then it tells you that money answers. You know, Anah is for answer. It testifies. It speaks. It responds as a witness. I ask y'all this here before we leave here. If it says money speaks as a witness, what is the money? What is the money? Who can tell me what is the money and why? What is the money and why? This says money bears witness. Oh, there's so many different ways you can go with it. I promise you. But I want to see what y'all got to say. What is the money and I give you like it. Is you thinking about it? Is you stumped? Somebody tell me something. Ain't nobody got nothing for me. I don't think nobody got nothing for me. It says the money bears witness to. Anybody else? Who'd like to share? Anybody else like to share? And you would be right that it is the spirit. The spirit bears witness. No, that's the spirit. That's the money. Comes from the bread and the wine. Can't get the spirit without the bread and the wine. Of course, the word for money is kasef, which is the word for silver, money, shekels, things of that sort. But you can't get to that spirit without the bread and the wine. You got to have the bread and the wine. That is very easy. Nevertheless, the ruach is the money because it bears witness. You understand? And we already looked at the apostles bearing witness to his resurrection. You did. So when we look at it in that aspect, that is bearing witness to his resurrection, and that you bearing witness that he is Elohim, and there's no strange God with it. We're gonna take that to verses 16 and 17 and verses 7 and back to John 20. And this still turns back around to how a good report makes the bones fat or prospers the bones, if you will. And how a wholesome tongue is a tree of life. So with that being said, hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. Appreciate y'all time this evening. I bless y'all out the house of Yahuwah in the name of Yahushua. Just let that word resonate and consider in your brain. Just let it resonate and consider in your brain. Because a lot of people don't believe the word. You got to remember, right? Yahushua told his apostles that. He said, some of y'all here that believe not. He knew who believed and who didn't. And honestly, we done went through this many, many moons ago. It is not hard to tell who's chosen, and it's not hard to tell who believes and who doesn't. If you understand and know the word, it ain't hard to tell. Now, again, I'm not talking about somebody who just weak in faith. There's a difference of being weak in faith and not believing. Two grossly different dynamics. One person is a person who believes but is struggling with doubt. That's the difference with somebody who's weak in faith. They desire to believe, but they struggle with doubt. Someone who does not believe absolutely doesn't believe any of it whatsoever. There is no doubt. They undoubtedly believe that it is false. And it ain't hard to tell. You know what I'm saying? Again, let me reiterate that fact. Someone who is weak in faith is someone who believes but is struggling with doubt. Too many times where you can read them people saying, help me with my unbelief, or because they were doubting. Even with Thomas, he just doubted. He just doubted. His faith was weak. He wasn't unbelieving. He just doubted, which of course terms the colloquialism of doubting Thomas. But people who don't believe, they don't even believe Yahuwah is, or he's a rewarder. Don't be deceived. There is a difference. And I'm telling you that some of you are just weak in faith. You're not unbelieving. You're just weak in faith. Some of you are unbelieving. See, a strong evidence of unbelieving is living an unrestrained life. You don't allow the word to rein you in. You definitely just do as you please and please as you do. That is an unbeliever. Because you say, you know what, I got time to eat, drink, and beat the maid servants and be drunk. Yahushua said he consider you the same as an unbeliever and a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? But Yahuwah willing, we'll delve into all that again. Blessings out the house of Yahuwah in the name of Yahushua, man. Keep yourself firm and rooted in the faith, man. Let the love of Hamashiach continually dwell with you and guide you. And Yahuwah willing, to the next time.